Ever wonder why the loud ones fade fast? Why those who bark, who spill their thoughts into every room they enter, who can't stop talking, they're always the first to crumble when the storm hits. Let me tell you something, kid. Silence isn't just a vibe. It's a weapon, sharp and deadly. If you don't learn to wield it, this world will chew you up, spit you out, and laugh while you're bleeding in the dirt. People think silence equals weakness. They assume if you're not firing back, you're scared. If you're quiet, you're broken. But that's their blindness talking. Silence isn't fear. It's focus. It's not surrender. It's strategy. The quiet ones, they're the ones building something real, waiting, watching. And when they move, it's precise, clean, no mess, just results, lethal results. You've been hurt, haven't you? I can see it in your eyes, betrayed, lied to, maybe even mocked. Your first urge is to scream, to call them out, to let the world know what they did. You want to shout until someone hears you. But hold up. You don't owe them your voice. You don't owe them your pain. You don't owe them your truth. Not yet. The more you speak, the more power you hand over. The more you explain, the more they twist your words. Silence, that's where your strength takes root. You sit in that darkness, bleed quietly, let it break you in private. Then you rise, silent, no warnings, no announcements. You show up transformed, and they choke on it. Let's break it down. Every word you speak reveals a piece of you, your mind, your heart, your fears, your plans. You think you're just venting, being real, but to them, you're handing over your playbook. Trust me, most people don't want to understand you. They want to use you. They want just enough to exploit your emotions, prod your insecurities, control your reactions. So why give them a single sound? Why let them read your script when you can keep them guessing every scene? The silent ones, they're the ghosts haunting every fake friend, every traitor, every loudmouth who thought they had you pegged. You go quiet, and they start to unravel. You stop explaining, and they question everything. You vanish, and your absence screams louder than any outburst. They thought your silence meant defeat. They thought you quit, but what they didn't see was you rebuilding in the shadows, calculating, training, cutting ties in your mind before the real world even noticed. You were studying patterns, not just theirs, but yours. Silence gives you that. Clarity, time, space to dissect your pain without performing it for an audience. You don't heal by airing your scars every day. You heal by closing the wound, stitching it shut in private, quietly, deliberately, and when it's done, you don't flaunt it. You wield it like a blade. People forget. Silence is the most honest answer. You don't need to justify yourself to those who've already chosen to misunderstand you. You don't need to beg anyone to see your worth. If they only noticed you when you were loud, they were never listening. So stop performing, stop explaining, stop talking. Let them assume, let them spin their theories, let them drown in their own guesses. You keep building in the dark. When you step back into the light, they won't recognize you. They'll act like they always believed in you, but you'll know. Deep down, you'll know who stood by while you broke and stayed silent. That's why you don't need revenge. You've already won. You're 10 steps ahead while they're still whispering, wondering what happened to you. Stay quiet, but never weak. Stay calm, but never passive. Observe more, speak less. Let your silence starve those who fed on your energy. Be unpredictable. Move like smoke. No trace, no warning. And when they ask what happened to you, don't answer. Just smile. True revenge isn't loud or chaotic. It's silent, cold, calculated, like a ghost with unfinished business. You ready to become that ghost, or you still think words are your sharpest weapon? They don't teach you this in school or in those feel-good books about healing, love, and trust. They push you to communicate, to open up, to be vulnerable. But they don't tell you when to shut the hell up, when to step back, when to retreat into your own world and lock the door. Because real silence, the kind born from chaos, betrayal, heartbreak, that's your most powerful phase. That's where monsters are forged, where warriors are carved. You don't become unstoppable by shouting your story to the world. You become unstoppable by walking through hell with your lips sealed and a mind sharper than every blade that cut you. You stop reacting, stop answering, stop defending. You observe, you plan, you level up in secret. They'll mock your silence at first, call it weakness, say you vanished, that you gave up. Let them. That's the trap you set. Let them think you're gone until you reappear, a version they can't manipulate, can't lie to, can't hurt. Because the silent one, he saw it all. He remembered everything. He just stopped talking about it. Ever been in a room full of people and felt like a ghost? Not because they ignored you, but because you saw through them. Their words lost weight, their noise turned hollow. That's the first step to power. When chatter becomes cheap and your stillness feels rich. When their drama is just background noise and your peace becomes untouchable. That's your rebirth, your separation. But it stings, doesn't it? Silence isn't gentle at first. It's raw, brutal, because you got nowhere to throw your pain, no one to hand it to. You realize the world wasn't built to catch you when you fall. It was built to cheer when you hit the ground. That's when silence becomes your armor. It's not just quiet, it's detachment, protection, control. You choose who hears your voice, who sees your scars, who earns your words. And trust me, very few do. You keep thinking you owe explanations to people who didn't even check if you were okay. You think silence needs a defense? It doesn't. You don't owe them closure, a text, a call, a damn thing. Let them sit in the silence they created. Let them wonder if you're all right. Let them feel the absence of the you they took for granted. You think revenge is shouting back? Nah, real revenge is making them irrelevant. It's letting them talk to a wall of silence, knowing they'll never get access to you again. You want to win. Don't block them, don't curse them, outgrow them, and do it without a word. That's what they don't see coming. They brace for a fight. You give them a disappearance. They sharpen their knives. You stop showing up. That drives them wild. Ever seen someone unravel when you stop reacting to their chaos? That's the silent kill. You pull back your energy, and their whole world starts to crumble. Some people only exist off the attention you gave them. When you go quiet, they scream into the void, hoping you'll return just to argue. Don't. Let them choke on your silence. Let them destroy themselves trying to figure out why the puppet stopped dancing. You're done performing, done explaining, done giving. From now on, you move differently. You walk into rooms with your energy shielded. Your silence speaks for you. When they ask what's wrong, you don't answer. Not because you can't, but because they haven't earned your voice. Understand this, silence isn't just about shutting your mouth, it's about knowing your worth. You don't explain loyalty to snakes. You don't justify your heart. to cowards. You don't bleed for those who laugh at your wounds. Let them think you've changed. Let them gossip, call you cold, distant, heartless. Good. The man you're becoming doesn't need their approval. He needs results, peace, power. And none of that lives in noise. The real ones never had to shout. They just moved. They vanished, then returned as kings, legends, ghosts of their former selves. That's your path now. Stop whispering to those who stopped listening long ago. Let your silence finish what your loyalty started. Now, here's the part that stings, but you need to hear it raw. Most of them only stayed because you kept explaining yourself, softening your tone, justifying your heart, proving your intentions like your soul was on trial. You begged to be understood by people committed to misunderstanding you. That's the trap, the sickness, trying to force truth into the ears of liars. You thought the right words, the right actions would make them see. But all you did was teach them how to hurt you better next time. You spoke from your scars, and they took notes. You showed them your blueprint, and they used it to break you. When you finally shattered, they acted shocked, like they didn't know why. That's why silence is survival. It's sacred. You stop giving them ammunition. You stop handing over pieces of yourself to be torn apart. You stop performing for an audience that claps for your pain and vanishes during your healing. Silence isn't just about not speaking. It's about refusing to be dissected. I know it feels unnatural. You want to scream your side of the story, let it out. But here's the cold truth. They're not listening. They're just waiting to twist your words. Ever notice how they only hear what fits their narrative? How they act confused no matter how many times you explain? It's not that they don't get it. They don't want to. If they understood, they'd have to admit they were wrong. Face the mirror you hold up. And people hate mirrors when they're the monster in them. So let them call you dramatic, sensitive, toxic. Let them flip the blame. Every label they throw just shows what they fear. A version of you they can't control. Silence rewires you. At first, it's hollow. You'll replay everything, wishing for one last conversation to set things right. But over time, that craving fades. You see how pointless it was. Most talks aren't for healing, they're for ego. You wanted closure, but what you needed was distance. You wanted to be heard, but what you needed was peace. Silence delivers both. It burns away the fake, exposes the lies, shows you who people really are, not who they pretended to be. You stop chasing apologies, love, explanations. You stop chasing. That's when you win. Ever seen the panic in someone's eyes when you stop reacting? That's silence doing its work. They fed off your responses, your breakdowns, your explanations. They were addicted to the version of you that bled openly. But now, you don't bleed where they can see. You don't give them that satisfaction. You hurt quietly, heal privately, move secretly. The quieter you get, the more they crumble. Not because you said anything, but because you said nothing. That nothing is heavy. It echoes, it haunts. Silence makes them face every word they threw at you, every lie, every betrayal with no distraction. Their guilt festers in the quiet you left behind. Ever notice how loud silence gets when someone's guilty? It screams in their heads, chokes them. They thought you'd beg, break, but you vanished. You let silence carry your rage, your grief, your scars. And that silence is louder than revenge, louder than tears, louder than rage. You don't need a scene, an explanation, or proof. The version of you they toyed with is gone, dead, buried. What walks now is silence, cold, clean, calculated. When they come back with fake apologies and sweet words, your silence answers. No response, no closure, just absence. That's how you win. Quietly, completely, without mercy. You ready to embody that silence, or you still think words can fix what their actions destroyed? You keep seeing silence as soft, passive, weak, but you've never truly weaponized it. Most people, when they're silent, are just biting their tongue, holding back tears, waiting to explode. That's not silence. That's a pause. The silence I'm talking about is final, deliberate, a funeral for the version of you that begged, stayed loyal to snakes, explained your soul to cowards, thought love would save you. This silence isn't about control. It's about self-respect. You're not quiet because you're scared to speak. You're silent because there's nothing left to say. They heard you cry and didn't flinch. You tried being soft, and they called it weakness. You offered your heart, and they used it as leverage. Now, you offer nothing. Not a word, not a sigh, not a hint of what's inside. Just silence, cold, sharp, eternal. Talking is currency. Every word you speak spends a piece of you, your thoughts, energy, focus. So who are you spending it on? People who never earned it, who only show up when it suits them, who cheered when you were drowning, and now want a front row seat when you rise. You speak to build, not to waste. You speak when it matters. Until then, stay silent. Watch, listen, let them reveal who they are without you giving away a thing. That's survival. That's evolution. Every word you don't say builds a wall they'll never climb. Ever met someone who only respects you when you stop explaining? That's how you spot the real listeners. Go silent and the fakes panic. They fish for drama, ask around, make up lies to fill the void you left. Your silence exposes their noise, shines a light on their nonsense. They wanted control, not connection. But when you cut the cord, when you shut the gate without a note, they realize how loud your presence was, how heavy your silence is. That's the twist. They mocked you when you were there. But now that you're quiet, they can't stop talking about you. That's the real flex. You let them have the last word, but you stole the last thought. You haunt their minds by saying nothing. You think being loud makes you memorable, number. It makes you predictable, readable, weak. You show your hand, expose your cards. They're watching, recording, ready to weaponize your words later. You bleed truth, thinking it'll free you, but truth doesn't free you in a world built on lies. It gets you crucified. So you stop, you starve them. You go dark, no warnings, no breakdowns, no dramatic exits. Just silence. Let them choke on the questions they never asked when you were still answering. Let them sit with the version of themselves that only existed when you fed them your light. Now that light's gone, they're left with their shadows. That's a punishment you don't need to speak to deliver. Every man who's risen learned silence first. Kings don't scream. Legends don't explain. Ghosts don't beg to be seen. They become the silence, move with it. Let their absence speak volumes. Their focus cuts deeper than words ever could. Want peace? Go silent. Want clarity? Go silent. Want power? Go silent. You're not running. You're ascending, shedding the skin they used to recognize. When they see you again, they won't. Not really. The version they betrayed, doubted, laughed at, that version's dead. This new one doesn't talk, doesn't ask, doesn't explain, just moves. And when he moves, the world falls silent. Silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's the death of access. It's the funeral for every bridge they burned, thinking you'd rebuild it. It's you, standing in the ashes of what they took for granted, deciding you're done playing savior to those who drown themselves. It's brutal, cold, unforgiving, the only thing they respect. Not your love, not your kindness, not your efforts to prove loyalty. They don't hear that. They only hear loss. When your silence walks in and your presence walks out, they feel the price. Not when you screamed, not when you cried, not when you tried to explain one last time. That was just noise to them. But silence, it's the consequence. The echo of everything they ignored, haunting them in every empty moment they used to fill with your energy. That's when it hits. That's when they realize you were the realest thing they had, and they let it slip like it was replaceable. People don't remember the noise. They remember the silence that followed. The dead space where your voice used to live. The quiet void no one else could fill, because no one else was you. That's what keeps them up at night. Not your words, but the fact you stopped offering them. You walked away without drama, without goodbye, without the closure they thought they'd get. They thought they'd get another version of you tomorrow. That's how arrogant they were. But silence makes it real, makes it final. When it stretches into days, weeks, months, they realize you weren't bluffing. You were gone. Suddenly, everything they laughed at becomes sacred. Every word you spoke echoes louder in your absence than it ever did in your presence. Here's something that'll twist your gut if you've still got a heart to feel with. Most people don't love you. They love the version of you that serves them. They love your yes, your energy, your willingness to explain, your softness. But when you pull back, when you say nothing, that love rots, because it was never love, it was consumption. They fed off you, and you kept feeding them, thinking they were worth starving for. You thought giving more would make them see you, but silence taught you what love couldn't, the difference between being seen and being used. Now, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to bleeding for those who flinch at your wounds, explaining your soul to those who don't listen when you say you're not okay. Ever notice how those who had constant access to you start throwing shade when you go quiet? That's fear, guilt wearing arrogance's mask. They'll call you bitter, petty, overreacting, but they're scared. Silence exposes their behavior without your explanations to cushion it. They like the you that excused their mistakes, forgave too fast, explained too much. This silent you, it's a mirror they can't face. It reflects every wrong they did without you saying a word. They'll feel it in their sleep. In every moment they reach for you and find the lines dead. That's your revenge. No fire, no noise, just distance. Here's the darkest truth. Some of the people you love most will realize what they lost too late. Not when you leave, not when you go silent, but when they see you glow in your solitude, when they see the peace of no longer carrying their weight, when they realize your silence wasn't absence, it was transformation. You didn't go quiet because you were broken. You went quiet because you were becoming. When they come back with fake apologies, pretending they've changed, your silence will say no louder than any rejection. Let them taste it. Let it echo in the void they created when they took your voice for granted. You think you're alone in that silence, like no one feels the rage behind your stillness? The strongest, most dangerous men I've seen stopped speaking and started listening, not to others, but to themselves, to the voice drowned out by noise for too long. That voice is your guide now. That silence is your battleground. Don't run from it. Sit in it. Breathe it. Learn from it. When the time comes, let your actions speak, your energy speak, your glow-up speak. But you, stay silent. The loudest power never needs to announce itself. Here's what breaks most. They think silence is a pause, a waiting room before you go back to how things were. But real silence isn't a timeout. It's a transformation. It rewires you, changes your thresholds. You stop craving the noise that fed you. You stop needing to be understood, validated, heard. You grow beyond it. That growth is lonely, terrifying, because when you stop talking, the only voice left is yours, raw, honest, forcing you to face the truth. You allowed too much, gave too much, stayed too long, begged too hard. There's no one left to blame, just you and the wreckage. But that's where power begins. When you rebuild in silence, you rebuild for you, not others. That structure, that mindset, has no doors for those who tore you down. You were addicted to explaining yourself, weren't you? Every argument, every betrayal, you had to paint the picture, show your heart, thinking they'd stop hurting you if they saw how much you cared. But you just gave them a map to strike, explaining yourself to those who've made up their minds. That's weakness, desperation, self-betrayal. You were begging for understanding from people who thrived on misunderstanding you because it gave them control. When you went silent, you stripped that away. Without your mirror, they crumble. The world doesn't clap for silence, but it respects it, studies it. Why do you think people panic when the quiet ones move? The loud ones talk about what they'll do. The silent ones just do it. No previews, no drama, just results. Silence isn't about being cold. It's about being calculated. You stop responding not because you don't feel, but because you feel too much. You've learned not everyone deserves access to that depth. You stop showing your heart, not because it's gone, but because it's guarded. You stop defending yourself because the truth doesn't need defense. It stands alone, like you. It's funny how those who told you to shut up now can't stop asking what's wrong. They weren't ready for the silent you, the one who doesn't entertain nonsense, who doesn't play old games, who doesn't need to be seen to be dangerous. They wanted you emotional, because emotions made you predictable. Now, you're unpredictable, and that terrifies them. They can't provoke you, guilt you, bend you, because you're not there. You're not playing. When they lose your voice, they realize how loud your presence was. You gave them your words, and they didn't listen. Now you give them silence, and it echoes through their hollow world. Your absence suffocates what they thought they controlled. Your silence isn't the end of your story. It's where you start writing a new one without letting them hold the pen. You're not here to be loud anymore. You're here to be undeniable, quiet, focused, relentless. When they wonder what happened to you, the silence will answer, not with pity, not with noise, but with distance. That's louder than anything you could have said. Here's the truth most won't admit. The moment you stop speaking is when they start listening. But by then, it's too late. Your silence isn't an invitation. It's a verdict, a wall they'll never climb. You gave them time, clarity, and the benefit of the doubt until it broke you. Now, you give them nothing. Not out of hate, but because silence is the only language they understand. You're not fixing anything anymore. You're not trying to be seen, heard, or rescued. You've accepted the truth. Not everyone at your table deserved a plate. Your silence flips the table, says no more. You don't scream it, don't explain it. Your stillness is the closure. Your absence is the lesson. They'll feel it every day. When do you become truly dangerous? When your peace is non-negotiable. When you stop responding just because they want a reaction. When you stop proving your worth and live like it's already known. That's when you become a storm in silence. They won't applaud your growth. They'll try to drag you back into the noise, call you cold, changed. But you're not cold. You're calm, not heartless. You just stopped handing your heart to those who played catch with it. You're not bitter. You're awake, seeing the game, the masks, the manipulation. Instead of confronting it, you choose the deadliest move: distance. A version of you died the day you chose silence over chaos. The you who explained, reached out first, forgave too fast. The world might miss him, but you won't. He was exhausted, anxious, pouring from an empty cup. He was loved for the wrong reasons, because he was convenient, accessible, made others feel better about themselves. This silent you, he doesn't play those roles. He doesn't seek applause or validation. He moves for himself. That solitude isn't empty. It's earned. You'll see it in their eyes when you pass them like they don't exist. That flicker of panic. They thought you'd never walk away, that you'd always come back to explain why they hurt you. Now, they see a ghost, a shadow, a memory louder than your presence ever was. That's what silence gives you. Legacy. You become the one who walked away and never looked back. The one they talk about but can't reach. The one they tried to decode, but whose language no longer exists. You evolved beyond it. They thought silence was retreat, that you crawled away to cry, to collapse. They didn't know you were studying, not just them, but yourself, dissecting your habits, your trauma, your patterns, cutting away weakness like rot, reshaping how you think, move, see. Silence didn't shrink you. It sharpened you, made you colder, wiser. Now you don't react. You choose. Every move is deliberate, every word calculated, every presence earned. You don't waste breath on dead conversations or argue with those missing the point. You don't explain your worth to the blind. You know who you are, and that knowing came from stillness, from facing the mirror without running. They hate that you didn't stay broken, didn't stay soft, didn't stay available. Your silence proved they were never necessary. They'll try anything to get a reaction, talk about you, lie, provoke, but you've outgrown the need to respond, to defend yourself against those who chose to misunderstand. Let them scream into the void. Let them spiral. You keep building quietly, strategically, alone. Silence doesn't just protect your peace, it multiplies it. People expect explosions, think power is loud, angry, chaotic. They forget the deadliest storms come without warning. No thunder, no lightning, just wind, just destruction, just silence before everything shifts. That's you now, a silent storm. They'll laugh until they choke, mock until they can't breathe. When they realize what's happening, when your silence becomes unbearable, They'll claw their way back, promising they've changed. They understand. They're sorry. But you're not in the business of recycling pain. You're not reteaching lessons you bled for. You're not giving second chances to those who wasted the first. You're not making space for those who left you starving. They'll call you cold, heartless, unforgiving. Let them. You didn't get here by being soft. You got here by surviving every attempt to kill your spirit, by going silent when screaming was easier, by walking away from what you once prayed for. You're not cold. You're precise, intentional, dangerous in a way they'll never grasp. They only know how to fight with noise, to win by dragging you into arguments, explanations, proving your truth. You don't do that anymore. You fight with results, with elevation, with absence. Nothing is scarier than a man who disappears in silence and returns in power. Stay quiet, stay distant, stay unpredictable. Let your silence speak volumes your words never could. Let it echo through every space you've left behind. Haunt those who took you for granted. Carry the pain you no longer perform. When they finally see what they lost, when it hits that you're never coming back, not as you were, they'll want to talk, to fix it, to find closure. But you'll already be gone, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Your silence will have buried what they're trying to resurrect. That's the silence that changes everything. That's your legacy. Speak it with your stillness.